against the other.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
We are faceless, but good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, October 5th, 10:07 on the East Coast. Hope you're having a great morning. Ray, how are you this morning, my friend? Ray
He says mute.
Go ahead.
I am great because the Atlanta Braves has taken the National League East over the Mets once again, coming from behind. 2 years in a row, the Mets takes the lead all the way up through the All-Star break. This time it took it almost to the end of baseball season to catch them, but we did, and we took it over. So the Mets are now in the wild card game.
Oh, man, if you are a Mets fan, I feel your pain. I really do. I feel your pain. Having the Mets let you down every year. They're still in the playoffs, but to have the bye versus being in the wild card game, that's a big difference. So, I mean, you got to feel for Mets fans, but hey, if you are a Braves fan, you are waking up feeling so great today. Last day of the MLB season, we're going to talk a little bit about that and preview a little bit more of the Major League Baseball playoffs that are going to start very soon. And a few other baseball news and notes as well. But we got to tell you guys about what's going on here at All Sports All Plays Network. We're on a roll. We're working on a lot of really amazing opportunities for the network here, and a lot of that is because of you guys that all watch the show and support the show. So if you like any of the content that you like to see here at All Sports All Plays, especially us here on the morning show, we got Mike Hughes will be joining us hopefully later this morning as well. But check us out on all platforms. Right now, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And of course, live on the All Sports All Plays app, which you can find on Roku. And you can see any of the great content that we have. We also have Pride that's joining us this morning. We'll get Pride in here in just a hot second. But check us out on YouTube, ASAP Sports Network, on Facebook at All Sports All Plays, on Twitter at ASAP Network 1, and on Twitch at ASAP Network. Hit the like, hit the share, comment. We like to interact with everybody during the show. We had some great conversations yesterday with some of the viewers. So let us know. We like to put the comments up here and talk about it. See what's on your guys' mind as well. We're trying to hit some sub goals. We're almost at 800 subscribers on YouTube. We're trying to make that big push for 1,000. So help us out there. And then as well on Facebook, we've got, I don't know, Ray, what is it? 10,000 people that follow us on Facebook. So thank you to all of you that check us out there. Absolutely. You can support us by sending stars. Helps us out as content creators as well. Anything is greatly appreciated. With that said, we had brought in Pride, who's also faceless to start the morning. Good morning, Pride. How are you?
I'm good. I just Ray, did you go to college, Ray? Because you seem like a college man.
I went to college. Right? Yeah, I went to college and I got my degree in web development, but I'm also going back to get my degree in sports broadcasting at Full Sail University.
So you're a smart man. Craig, did you go to college as well? I believe you have. Okay.
I did.
Question, is 62 more than 72?
The last time I checked, it wasn't.
Asking for a friend. All right.
Well, hold on. To get the adjust here, the 62 is for Roger Maris American League only. Barry Bonds broke it in the National League. They broke it in the National League, not the American League.
Nah, but people are making it seem like he broke the record like that. Like,
right.
If you want to give him some flowers, I'm cool with that. It's fine. But ESPN, I'm watching, like, I'm on ESPN Plus, and they're cutting stuff off just so I can watch Aaron. It's not that special. If it was chasing 72, that's one thing. I'm just trying to watch. They even do that on reruns, man. I'm watching a rerun. I'm watching an old UFC fight, and they got it in split screen. I'm like, is this a joke?
I understand the premise behind it because Roger Maris's mark is still, for the American League, was still the benchmark to hit. And even up until McGuire and Sosa started going, back to back years of being able to hit and surpass that mark, that was the standard for the home run race every year. But so that was kind of the last big domino, I think, to fall for the American League, which is why they're making it such a big deal, because it's Judge, it's the New York Yankees, it's beating a former New York Yankee, Roger Maris's record. But now for him, it's like, hey, that's a great benchmark. And Jeff Passan even kind of mentioned it on Twitter the other day. He's like, hey, this is a great achievement, but it's not the record.
And that's the only thing I need people to understand. If you want to give him some flowers, I have no problem with it. Where I have a problem is people talking about this is the great offensive season we've ever seen. I'm like, okay, who is your plug? And let me know, because I want to get that messed up. I want to get that tweaked out that I'm calling him that this season is like the greatest offensive regular season ever. Again, if you want to give him some flowers, I have no problem with that. He's not breaking the record. The only people who let's be honest. The only people who really care about this are Yankees fans. Let's be honest. If he was close to 72, we got another conversation. But it's 62. It's 10 less, and my man struggled to get it. He struggled.
Yeah,
And don't tell me nothing about, oh my God, he did it clean. Because when Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa was doped up, it wasn't illegal. So blame Aaron Judge for being born too late.
It definitely was not being talked about the way it does today. But yeah, you mentioned Judge. He was without a home run in I think 22 plate appearances once he hit number 61. So he was definitely struggling at the plate. And Ray and I were talking about this pre-show. It wasn't like he was chasing pitches outside the zone. He's just getting flyouts. He's getting just base hits. He was going 1 for 4, 1 for 5. Like what do you know, going 22 plate appearances without a home run, when you're trying to chase it, that pressure becomes all the more mounting. Yeah, it's great that now he's got 62, but now if we still had a couple of weeks left in the season, there's even more pressure to get to that 73 mark, but there's no way he's going to hit it now. Obviously, today's the last day of the season. So it's possible that he could get another home run, maybe two. Realistically, what I think is he probably sits out today in preparation for the playoffs, because now it's done. He's hit 62, beat Roger Maris's AL record. Let's get ready for the playoffs. Let's focus on that.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I don't think he's. That's just me. I don't think he's getting it. I don't think he's getting. He might get one more, but it's just going to be the fact that they're going to start resting him, which they should have done to begin with. Let's be honest. They should have done this to begin with. I'm not even trying to be rude or anything, but the mere fact that they're that desperate for him to get 62, like, settle down, pump the brakes. If y'all that desperate, imagine if he had gotten hurt. Now we're talking about how Aaron Boone's an idiot.
Yep.
I mean,
absolutely.
Let's be honest. They clinched it. Why are you having him go out there and sweat for this 62? And Rob Scott says go for 63. I mean, okay, sure. He gets 63. Now what? Because like I said, no one cares about it. Let's be honest. Let's be all the way 100. I understand honesty is not the best policy for people, but the only people who care are Yankees fans that are desperate for something after basically underachieving for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah,
so they're desperate for something, right? Like they're like, give me a bone, you know. So now they're just desperate for anything at this point. They're desperate for anything.
Well, I mean, too, he broke the former American League record, but he was also a Yankee, so another Yankee beat another Yankee.
Yep.
Who cares?
But it's still, I forgot about. Oh yeah, and Judge got people talking about baseball again. Yeah,
no,
I mean,
he didn't though.
But
no, he didn't. Because Fernando Tatis Jr. had people talking about baseball a couple years ago. Shohei Ohtani had people talking about baseball a couple years ago.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more in the mainstream media because of this chase, but I'm with you, Pry. I think baseball has been in conversation, talked about good and bad a lot over the last few years, but Judge's 62 still only puts him at number 7 of the all-time home runs in a single season.
Right. So
he's behind Bonds, and then it goes like McGwire, Sosa, McGwire, Sosa.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. For me, it's like, yeah, fiending for it. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, and every time I talk about it, people get mad. They're like, oh, it's because you're a Boston fan. You're just a hater, this, that, and third. And it's like, well, no, the only people who care about it are Yankees fans. Outside of the Yankee bubble, normal baseball fans are like, hey, hats off to you. 62, great accomplishment. But quick maths, right? What's the difference between 62 and 72? A whopping 10. So pump the brakes and relax. This is not the greatest offensive season we've ever seen in your entire life. Never. Because how many droughts did Aaron Judge go through?
Yeah, he went through a few
Went through
slumps
some,
throughout
yeah.
the season. A few of them. I think one of the big things of why that comment of it's one of the greatest individual seasons we've ever seen, because of the fact that he's also chasing the Triple Crown, which if you coming into today, Judge was at 311 in the batting average. He's behind Luis Ariz, who's at 315. So
Yeah.
he's 4 points behind him for the batting average. He's got home runs locked up, and he's only 8 ahead of Jose Ramirez for Cleveland in the RBI category. So there's a possibility that Judge might only get 2 legs, maybe even one if Jose goes off today.
But I mean, Jose's got to go and hit. He's got to bring in 8 runs in one game.
Right, he's got to bring in 8 or 9 runs, which is really, really hard to do for those of you that.
I mean, I think in all likelihood, I think Aaron Judge walks away with 2. I think the batting average is the one he loses, and I think the reason why he loses it, I just think it was the 20 what was it 22 at bat. It was just him when he found his ball. He was trying to swing so much to the point that like his timing was off slightly. Like you said, he was going 1 for 5, 1 for 4. That's going to mess with your batting average pretty bad, especially now. You know? So I think that's the one he doesn't walk away with. Me personally, I would rather see him win the Triple Crown than anything. I think the Triple Crown is more impressive than 62. That's just me, though.
Yeah, the last time he was in the lead for batting average was, I want to say September 23rd, roughly, when he was at 315. That's about when he was at the top. So you're talking about 3, 6, 9, 11 games ago. And since then, he dropped as low as 310 before coming back to 311. But he's got 0 for 3, 1 for 2, 1 for 3, 0 for 1 with 4 walks, 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 5. So that's the point, is that he wasn't getting walked a ton outside of maybe a stretch of 4 or 5 games.
Right.
So he's out there. He's out there just trying to get the batting average, the hardest one of the 3, I think, to get.
Yeah.
Because you have to be so consistent for so long.
And honestly, I think Miggy Cabrera, was it him? I think he was the one who said it. He said when he won his Triple Crown, the one that got him the MVP, he was like, years after when they kind of were talking about the Triple Crown and everything, he basically was like, yeah, that was the worst. Because the thing is, for the home runs, you can go on a nice little stretch here and there. And you know what I mean? You can survive off of pockets of stretches where you go night. You know what I mean? Where you have great power and go on. He said the average was the roughest one. Because the thing is, when you hit a lot of home runs, the RBIs kind of come with it. They're a little easier to come by when you're kind of when you're ranking them, when you're racking them up big, right? He said it was the average, because not only do you need the power to bring people in, but you need the contact, and you need to be smart, because you need to not only bring people in, but you need to understand, if I can't bring anyone in, I still need to be able to have the ability and the confidence in myself to just go get a single, to just take what I can get a single, be on first, call it a day, and understand, hey, next time I go up, I'll have another chance. So it's crazy. It's hilarious, though.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of people were talking about it, because of the fact that it's so rare to see someone hit the Triple Crown. And that average is really the hardest part. And Judge, the type of player that he is, the home runs and the RBIs are easier for him. Like, his style of play, he's a bomber. Like, that's the type of player he is. But hitting for that average, you always kind of had a feeling that was going to be the hardest part for him to do. And I give him a lot of credit, because he's gotten close. Like, I've never been one to think of him as, he's the guy that's going to lead the American League in batting average this year. Home runs and RBI, yeah, I could easily see that. But the average is the part that it's all about consistency. And like you said, taking what is given to you at the plate and not trying to stretch yourself too much to stretch for that 60-second home run, which then puts him at a 21, 22 plate appearances without a home run, because maybe you're trying to overextend yourself or overdo it instead of just taking what a pitcher gives you.
Yep.
Yeah. And on top of that note is too, most time if you're a home run hitter, batting average doesn't come in with the home run hitter because you're hitting for more power. You strike out more than you would for a clean batting average. So for him being this close as a power hitter is tremendously, but still, again, he goes through the stretches. He's trying to catch that home run, and then there goes his bat. There goes his timing, and that's what had happened to him about 11 games ago. He tried to go change his power to his hitting streak to a power hitter, and chasing that home runs. And when you chase home runs, that affects your batting average.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, too, I was talking to Frankie about this. The problem really with Aaron Judge, why I think this batting average could potentially be an anomaly, is because of his size. Low and away, he can't touch, and there's nothing he can do about that. There's literally nothing he can do because he's just so big, and he can't crowd the plate. Because if he crowds the plate, 75% of his body is over the plate, so he can't crowd it. So if y'all watch him, he's almost completely outside the box.
Yeah,
like like he needs to stand like that because of how big he is. So it's like once he has to face consistent pitchers who love working the outside, it's going to be rough for him. And the sad part about it, because of his size and because of how he's built, there's nothing he can do. It's not like he can go, oh, okay, cool, let me go practice. Let me go get my timing right. Nah, bro. Like, unless you go get a longer bat and you somehow keep the same bat swing, there's really nothing much he can do.
I mean,
so if he
comes with a bigger bat, that bat can hit the ground when he's swinging.
Exactly.
Because the way he stands,
which is going to end up screwing things up more for him.
And so, if you look at his hot and cold areas, his hot and cold are above his waist. His hot areas above his waist. All his cold areas are below his waist.
Yep, because he can't handle it, and it's just because of how big he is. You know.
And if you look when the Yankees play, when they cut into him, the pitch with Pivas on the mound that he got 200 runs off of, he kept him low. He kept him very low, and he didn't even swing at the curve. He didn't even swing at that fastball. It was right down the middle in the lower part of the plate because he knew he couldn't get it.
Right.
So
it's crazy.
Yeah, let's. But moving on to like we said, today is the last day for Major League Baseball's regular season, and there were a lot of clinching, division clinching, playoff clinching games that have happened over the last day or so. So having to break down, and we kind of touched on this at the very end of yesterday's show. But we are on the subject of baseball, going over what those matchups are going to look like for the playoffs. I know one that we talked about yesterday, the Mariners and the Blue Jays in the AL. That's going to be a really good series to watch. Not only you got so on the Blue Jays side, you have Bo Bichette leads the American League, leads the majors in hits this year. Seattle breaking their 20-year playoff drought and making the playoffs for the first time since 2001. So 21 years. What are your guys' thoughts on how what's the most intriguing matchup in the American League playoff bracket?
You're talking about just the AL?
Yeah, just American League now and then National League in a second.
Right. You want to go first or do you?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So for the AL, I'm obviously Seattle and Toronto. I think that's the one I would go with. But that's not to say that Cleveland and Tampa Bay themselves isn't kind of interesting. I don't know what I'm gonna get from Cleveland because I look at this team and I can see this team potentially making the World Series. I really can. I can also see this Cleveland team scoring 0 runs and everyone going hitless. It's kind of funny how we're talking about the wild card because they actually are the wild card of the AL. I look at them as this weird thing. So my thing is, I'm genuinely curious to see what they should on paper beat Tampa Bay on paper. But I just think it's going to be a very interesting situation. So for me, if I have to pick a game, if I have to pick one to watch, I'm gonna go Seattle and if I got to watch a series, I'm gonna go Seattle and Toronto. But I am interested in Cleveland versus Tampa Bay because I'm very curious on this Cleveland team and seeing what really they're gonna do. What are they gonna bring? Because all season they've been kind of a weird team, right? Like sometimes they look like the best team in baseball, and then other times they look like the Colorado Rockies. Like it's insane. It's this weird thing. So I'm curious to see if in the postseason they can fix all that stuff, or if it continues. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I'll go. Well, I was doing the Seattle and Toronto because that's the intriguing one because the way Seattle got in, the way they haven't been coming back in here, in the past and trying to get their stuff in the way they played this season. They played kind of inspired baseball. I mean, that's them, but they've been on a hot streak in the last few months too. So, I mean, if you look at this. The thing they won the last 2 games, they clinched their first wild card playoff berth in how many years since Ken Griffey?
Yeah.
So it's been a long time for them.
Yeah, I mean that was the Ichiro team, 2001.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it, it's been 11 years since they've been in the playoffs. So now I want to see what they do against Toronto and them power hitter and Bichette and Fielder and Guerrero and all them. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. Cleveland, I'm not very interested in Tampa because if Tampa gets on that hot streak and in these one games, they got the pitching staff that can neutralize Cleveland hitting. I don't think Cleveland has the pitching and can utilize because Tampa does all these situational hittings. They get base hits, they move you over on bunts, they do all kinds of stuff, try to get their base runners. They play pure baseball basically without hitting a bombshell of home runs. They are more like a hitting, clinic. They get on base, they do hit and runs, they set players in motion, steal bases. They do strategy baseball. They do analytic baseball, what you want to call it. So that is interesting too, but Cleveland, this Cleveland team reminds me of the Cleveland with Indians with Lofton and all them when they were all nothing but hitting, and they come against and they were all talking about that power hitting, that hitting against the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves shut them down with pitching. And I think that's what is going to happen with Tampa. I think Tampa got the pitchers to actually neutralize their hitting. They're going to have to do some unusual stuff to get base runners, and the way they do it, they got to play the same way Tampa plays, hit and runs, sacrifice when you get players in certain positions. So to me, the interesting matchup will be the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, that's a big differing in style. So the Toronto Blue Jays lead the majors in team batting average. They're top 10 in home runs. They're top 10 in home runs. They have the most hits. They've got top 5, I think I saw. They're number 2 in OPS in the entire major leagues. So you're having a big contrasting of styles in that game, or in that series, I should say. Toronto and Seattle. And Seattle just they hang around games and they've found ways to win, whereas Toronto's been a much different team. And I think that contrasting of styles and how they both approach the game, like you said, Ray, that's going to be a very intriguing one for me to watch. And then even the Rays and the Guardians. The Guardians are, what was they, top 3? They're third in the majors in triples, and they're in the top half of the league as well in home runs, whereas they have second worst home runs. So they're outside of Jose Ramirez, they don't have a ton of power hitters, and Tampa Bay is down there as well. So Tampa's always that team where they just find guys from either nobody wants or guys that aren't the biggest names, and they put them out in the field and they'll produce. So I think that's an interesting one too, because of the fact that in the AL Central, I don't think we really expected Cleveland to be to win the AL Central crown. A lot of people were talking about the White Sox were going to be that team. And then they just did not, they were not able to sustain it really for the entire season, with Tony La Russa basically falling asleep in the dugout and forgetting what inning it was. And, oh wait, it's an 0-2 count. Yeah, we're gonna intentionally walk. I'm sorry, what? Like,
what a guy.
What a guy. But for the AL Central, there's always somebody's got to win it, and I think this year that was Cleveland. Statistically, they're not as highly touted or as lauded as some of these other teams that have made the playoffs. So I think that's going to be a very intriguing matchup because of the winners of these play-in games, these wild card games.
Don't ever refer to it as a play-in game again. Ever. Ever.
Basically,
ever.
That's what it is, right?
No, it's not. At least they earned it, all right? You ain't got no sub 500 teams in here.
They tried. But yeah, so the winner of Toronto and Seattle plays Houston, I believe, and then Cleveland and Tampa, the winner plays the Yankees. Or maybe
Seattle, I'm telling you right now, Seattle is. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Seattle might sweep Houston. It might be that embarrassing. I got Seattle beating Houston, but
I don't disagree. Seattle's gone all in, and they went and traded for Luis Castillo from Cincinnati. Then they went and signed him to a contract extension. Yeah, and Julio's been a phenomenon this year, in getting the national spotlight in the home run derby and stealing the show. But his big contract extension he had as well, and now he has been dealing with some injuries, kind of the back few weeks of the season. But he did start getting back into the lineup over the last week or two, and that's a big cog for in the wheel for Seattle to be able to produce, because they can't rely on the rest of the roster to just kind of pick up and go, Winker and company to be able to maintain all that. They need Julio in that lineup as well to be able to make a deep postseason run. But yeah, I'm with you, Pride. I think Seattle's a team in the American League that can turn some heads, and they have a possibility of making the ALCS. Frankie said, what a historic morning. Yeah,
I don't even think
if you're living in the 1960s and forgetting all about the late 90s and 2000s and all that home run hitting. But good morning, Frankie.
Anyway, I'll be honest. Forget the ALCS. If I'm in Seattle, I legitimately, wholeheartedly have the World Series not only in mind, but that's a borderline expectation right now. 100%. You can look at me like that all you want, right? But
Yeah.
100%. Seattle, the Seattle has been on the come up for what, 5 years?
Definitely the last 2 to 3 years they made that big push last
year was when people
short.
was really taking them serious, and then this year was supposed to be like, all right, they starting to get it together. Then they go get Luis Castillo, which honestly, if we're gonna be honest, was really the only missing piece they had that they were missing. They were only missing a legitimate number one pitcher. They got one in Luis Castillo.
Yeah, but you still just take one game at a time. You don't look ahead. If you look ahead, sometimes that put a little bit more pressure to you. So if you look at what you got game coming up now, you got Toronto. That's on your mind. You play them, then you move to the next guy. You move to the what do they play? The Yankees or they play Houston. If they get to Houston, you think about all the Houston series. You think that game all the way up. You don't want a team to think ahead. And sometimes they think ahead, they lose their focus, what they need to do, the task in hand. Because the way the Braves did it last year, because the Braves they weren't even picked to win the World Series last year. Dead up. They wanted. Snitker came in and said, "Hey, you get the lead on your division. You in your division. Then we're going to take the next game up. Will be the National League playoffs." Then they took it then when they got to the Dodgers, they concentrated on the Dodgers. They beat the Dodgers, and then they end up beating Houston in a World Series and win the World Series last year. Because they didn't look ahead. The Braves didn't look ahead at the time. So,
but I'm not saying they need to look ahead. What I'm talking about is the expectation should be a World Series appearance. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're going to look over Tampa and then they're going to look over. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the expectation should be at least a World Series appearance at the bare minimum, because honestly, now there's no excuse. There's no excuse because they have the talent. They have it all. At this point, it's just them going out and performing. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, an appearance is what is honestly should be a minimum at this point. If they don't win, that's fine. But Seattle needs to now, because for like the last, to Craig's point, last 2 or 3 years, we've been saying this team is good. This team can do it. This team can do it. And then all of a sudden, for one reason or another, they can't.
Well, what was always killing them was their hitting. And then this year they're hitting the ball better, and they went out and got, like you guys were talking about, got Luis Castillo to eat up the already good pitching staff they have. I think they're a scary team in the playoffs in 5 or 7 game series. I think they could go deep.
Yeah, and I think if the Seattle can take down Toronto, that momentum, I would think they match up fairly well with the Yankees too, because they've in the last, I can't remember the overall. I can't remember the overall standing.
Here come Frankie.
Pride went and did it.
I didn't even do anything. He's just desperate for attention. He's a child.
We'll bring him on for a few minutes. Morning, Frankie, the Yankee in full effect.
What's up, boy? I didn't even hear what Price said. I honestly don't pay no mind to what Price say. Everything that he says it's like.
He knew I said something though. But he knew I said something. Therefore, he knows what I said.
I really didn't, because as soon as I came in, I hear the guys laughing. They're like, "Oh, you did it, Pride." I'm like, "Oh, he must have said something."
That's crazy because I didn't say anything until after.
No.
But again, keep faking it. Fake it till you make it, big guy. Fake it till you make it.
Well, if I knew what you said, I would come in here and talk trash to you. But clearly,
you're right. Now, go ahead, big guy. Go ahead. Floor's yours, big guy.
Wow, you must be really upset. Are you still upset about Blake Griffin playing for the Celtics? You want to take it out on me?
Nah, honestly, I'm over that. I'm over that.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
100%.
Bro, you wrote me last night. You wrote me last night crying.
That was for something else.
No,
that was
stop
completely
that.
different.
Stop
that was not because of Balake. That was something completely different. That was like completely different. All right, so relax.
All right, so Frankie, as a Yankees fan, like to you, so we've kind of talked a little bit about Aaron Judge and his chase for the Triple Crown. And how for you for Yankees fans, how important is it for Judge to hit 62, or are you guys now focused on, hey, this is a great achievement, let's focus on the playoffs now? From a Yankees perspective, how are you guys looking at what Judge is doing versus the overall big picture of looking to make a run at the World Series title?
Right. I mean, as a Yankee fan, all we wanted was for him to get that 62. Now that he's got 62, all of our focus now is ALDS right now, Division Series, seeing who we're going to have to face, either Tampa Bay or Cleveland right now. So we're resting. We're looking at our bullpen, seeing who's going to be our bullpen in the playoffs, focused up on that. Aaron Judge is not going to get the Triple Crown that pretty much showed me a couple days ago when he was just swinging at pitches. So right now, for him to make that up, he's got to go into the playoffs, mindset ready to go and win a World Series.
So with his contract situation kind of looming here, how important is it for the Yankees to retain Aaron Judge for the long term, knowing that he's now 30 years old and he's probably going to demand a big contract?
Yeah, I said this like last week or 2 weeks ago on Mike on the Mic, that he should get somewhere between maybe a 5 to 6 year contract with the Yankees, because knowing the Yankees are probably going to give him a 10-year contract, no doubt about it. But most players, and we've seen this, most players in baseball don't finish out that 10-year contract. So it's most likely he's already at 30 years old. I would expect the Yankees to do something, giving him a 10-year contract with that mega deal that he's going to get, probably like 350, probably more than that, millions worth. And I think he's going to probably play out maybe 5 to 6 years if he signs that mega long-term contract deal.
Yeah, that's been a big topic of conversation all year, even coming in. The fact that Judge kind of bet on himself, didn't really, they hadn't really talked a ton of contract, couldn't come to an agreement. And I think the Yankees were kind of banking on the fact that Judge might not have a big year, so that way they have better leverage in contract negotiation. But hey, a lot of credit to Judge to go out and do what he's done this year to set that.
They probably thought that the reason they didn't do that is because he's injured prone. They thought he was gonna, come in and probably get injured again sometime during the season, but he hasn't been injured. He's been healthy all year, and the man is dominant. The first 13 games, 11 games, he only hit 1 home run, and now complete cycle to the end of the year, the man passed Roger Maris for the American League all-time home run. The man deserves his money. The Yankees better give it up. If not, I'm gonna be sad to see him go.
Yeah, the Yankees cost themselves some money by not signing them before the season.
Yeah, that's the risky run when a guy like Frankie said, that his injuries are were part of the reason why the Yankees didn't give him a big contract extension, or they hadn't really talked about it going a whole lot into the season. We're not able to come up to an agreement. So the Yankees and the Astros get that first round bye. Now real quick, we'll kind of move over to the National League, and then we'll move on to some NFL. I know this group loves talking about the NFL. We're something that a lot of us are very well versed in. But in the National League, now the playoff field is completely set. You got the Dodgers and Braves have that bye. I know Ray had talked about it, getting that 100 wins, clinching the NL East, sweeping the Mets, who have you got to feel bad a little bit for Mets fans because of how the Mets were in control of the division for so long. And then just near the end of the year, chipped away little by little. Here come the Braves, just like they did last year and even the year before that. So in the wild card series, Padres against the Mets and Phillies against the Cardinals. Gonzo, I'm going to come to you first and ask you, between the Padres, Mets, or Phillies, Cardinals, which of these two matchups intrigues you more?
Probably the Phillies and the Cardinals. So I think the Mets are going to beat the Padres, but the Phillies are coming in made the late run to just get in the playoffs, so they're kind of hot. I think them and the Cardinals are going to be a good series.
Ray, which of these two matchups are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking for I want to see the Mets and the Padres play. I just want to see the pitching against their hitters. That's just me, and I hope the Padres win because I don't care anything about the Mets. I think the Mets are just completely gone. I think they're coming in. I think they're limping into the playoffs. Really, I mean, yeah, they put a number on the Nationals after the Braves sweeped them, but I mean, all year long they were up and down all year. The Braves made that run once again after the All-Star break. Braves don't play good before the All-Star break, but after the All-Star break, the Braves turns it on, and I think they put the pressure on the Mets, and the Mets just couldn't handle the pressure. So.
Pride, which one are you looking at?
Mets and Dodgers, or I said Mets and Dodgers. I'm sped. Mets and San Diego. I just want the Mets to win, and I want them to beat LA. I hope we get the Braves versus the Mets and that NLCS. I just want to see that so bad, only because I love Jacob deGrom. Okay, I hate New York. It's a horrible place. It's almost as bad as Chicago. Almost as bad. It's a horrible place.
Almost as bad as Chicago.
Almost as bad as Chicago. The only reason why it's not as bad as Chicago is because Rob lives in Chicago. So Rob gives Chicago that little bump down, right? But there's only right now, if New York was on fire, and I got family in New York, there's only two people I'm saving. That's Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom. Everyone else can burn. Everyone can get everyone else can get hurt. I don't care. Good luck. Figure out your own way. Call someone. Do your thing. There's only two men I'm in there for. It's Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer. I hope they redeem themselves. I hate Atlanta because all of a sudden now everyone is like, "Oh my God, they're so perfect. Look at them." Okay, no, I'm not gonna curse. I almost did, but Logan, you're a piece of dog doo-doo. Okay, I hate you. Okay, and the Braves suck. I hope the Braves make it just so they get swept by New York. So the Mets and the Padres is who I will be watching.
See, everybody wants to know why I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. I've been an Atlanta Braves fan when the Atlanta Braves were in the National League West.
See, you're
back in Dale Murphy days.
Ray, you're a Marlins fan, and you're just trying to get adopted.
Hell no. My favorite baseball player is Dale Murphy, who played for the Atlanta Braves.
I don't know, man. I was talking to you. You said Jazz Chisholm was the best player in the MLB.
Ready for this? Dale Murphy came to Jacksonville to the Jumbo Shrimps game for signing. I took my baseball card I had of Dale Murphy to the ballpark to get him to sign it. And he looked at me and says, "You had this kind of card?" I said, "You that old?" I said, "Dude, I was a Atlanta Braves fan all my life. And when I went to the hospital to get 255 stitches in my head, the Braves were still playing. I came out of the operating room at about 1:15, and the Braves were still playing. They were at 22.
You say the Marlins funny. It's crazy how you say Marlins.
Sorry, dude.
It was a B in Marlins. I didn't know that.
No, I've been a Braves fan since Dale Murphy days, man.
I want to touch on Damien's comment here that the Phillies are going to be an easy sweep for the Cardinals.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think the Cardinals do win, but I don't think it's an easy sweep.
I think that's going to be an interesting series. I think it'll be a fun.
That's coming from someone who's crying about Mitchell Trubisky being benched. He still wants him to be a starter. Let's not forget that.
No, he doesn't.
He wants Mitchell Trubisky to be a starter. He still on our fantasy, he still has Mitchell Trubisky in his starting lineup, and he still hasn't taken him down. He's not going to take him down. He's going to keep him in the lineup.
Fantastic. So if you're playing Frankie, or if you're playing Damien in your fantasy league on ASAP, easy win, especially if Trubisky's not going to play. But the Phillies, they've got a lot of heavy hitters, but their big issue is their pitching, and that's always kind of been their thing. They're in the bottom half of the league in team ERA, which I know that's only one statistic to look at, but I'll also look at like whip. So for whip, the Padres or the Phillies are like middle of the pack, which in playoff teams that's not very good. Because you want it, a lot of your playoff teams, you want them, if you're playing well, you want to be in the top half of a lot of those categories. But they allow quite a bit of base runners. Their bullpen still up and down struggles. But the Cardinals, you guys mentioned the Cardinals are a real sneaky team to watch out for in the National League. Obviously, you've got Arenado and Goldschmidt, and then Pujols is doing something that Pujols hasn't done in years, and he's basically turned back the clock to old Albert Pujols somehow. So that's a dangerous weapon to have at your disposal too. I know he's not the player he was before, but he's really turned it up.
He's had a great season.
Yeah.
In many ways, I think more impressive than what Aaron Judge's season has been.
He said Philly's been playing bad all season. They got lucky to get in the play. I wouldn't necessarily go like that. I just think it was the injuries because right before Bryce Harper went down, they were playing pretty well. So I don't necessarily think that they sucked. I just think they would go on a run, and then it was an injury that happened that derailed them. Then they would get back healthy and go on a run.
Over the last couple of weeks, they've been playing better. That's what got them in the playoffs. Sometimes it's just getting hot at the right time.
Not just that, also, they got rid of Joe Girardi. Once they got rid of Joe Girardi, a lot of things turned around and a turning point for Philly.
Joe Girardi is so doo-doo, bro.
He is.
So he was never good, bro. Like, even when he was with New York, bro, the only time people cared about him was when he came out and screamed. Because it always looked like that one vein. Frank, you know which one I'm talking about. That one vein was about to burst and was about to fill up. That's the only time he was ever really good. I'll give him props. He'll stick up for his players. Outside of that, my guy was just standing there he's like an older Aaron Boone that screams more.
Nah, Aaron Boone is more chill. Aaron Boone is more chill.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Girardi is an Aaron Boone that screams more. Yeah, Aaron Boone is like, no, hey guys, I don't want no beef, guys. Come on, we're all friends.
When Aaron Boone wants to be heard, he'll be heard, bro.
Not even, bro. Greg has more passion than Aaron Boone. Come on, bro. Relax, bro. My guy Greg was ready to flip a table, bro. When's the last time Aaron Boone was like that?
In August when he was fucking getting pissed at us not playing well. My man was talking to press, ready to flip out on that little mic.
When he was doing that interview, he was like, "This is what I want to say to Garrett Cole. This is what I want to say to young Carlos Stanton, Gleyber Torres, Aaron Judge. You're okay. This is what I want to say to Aroldis Chapman. This is what I want to say to y'all." And then as soon as he got to the back, he was like, "You guys okay? We're all good. Okay, cool."
All right, let's change gears to talk some NFL. Now through 4 weeks, you got some teams that are already feeling behind the 8 ball with how they maybe expected their season to go. And there's a few names that have been in conversation about should they be on the hot seat and how hot is the seat they're in. So a couple names, So a couple of names that have come up. Ron Rivera for the Commanders, Matt Rule for the Panthers, Nathaniel Hackett, the Broncos, Frank Reich, even with the Colts, with how they've been underperforming. So the last thing, and then I've got to hop off and go to work. But the last thing to kind of toss out to you guys is through 4 weeks, which NFL coaches are on the hot seat and whose seat is the hottest?
Josh McDaniels. I don't even think
I was gonna say that too, Josh McDaniels.
I mean, if you want to say Matt Rule, because his seat has been red hot for 5 years now, I'll accept that. But they're 1-3, and they're 1-3 because of his coaching. His coaching has eliminated Devontae Adams. You have the best wide receiver in the game. At worst, the second best wide receiver in the game. And you refuse to utilize him. You refuse it.
And a top 5 tight end.
That's what I'm like, that's to me, that's bizarre. And then defensively, he doesn't even care about them. He's just like yelling at Derek Carr. You should have hit him here. That's not what you told me. And then he just panics. It looks like he's about to blow up. This guy, I'm not gonna say he's on the hot seat, but I think it's time for him to go. Bill Belichick.
What?
I think it's time to move on from Bill and enter the next generation of the New England Patriots. I love Bill. I love Bill with every fiber of my being. I saw him yesterday and he looked 108. He's sick of it. He doesn't want to be there. I'm convinced if you put him on a lie detector test, he doesn't want to be there anymore. He's sick of everything. Now Mac Jones is down. So the only reason he was staying was Mac Jones. And Mac Jones is now out. Who knows how long, because Mac Jones is going to be smart. He's going to be smart and make sure he doesn't rush himself back. Be smart, Michael McCorkle-Jones. Do not rush yourself. Bill Belichick it's just eventually all great runs come to an end. And I just think it's the end of at least Bill Belichick with New England.
Insane.
I know it sounds crazy, but
Insane.
But the thing is like there's really nothing we can do. We're on the verge of a full-blown rebuild. We're so desperate we brought back Jamie Collins for the 8th time.
Bro, that's not desperate. That's a smart move.
That's desperate. Come on, stop this. That's desperate.
That's smart move.
That's desperate. Let's keep it a beat here, bro. That's desperate, bro. Come on, let's keep it a stack out here, dog. But honestly, I just think, again, I do want Bill Belichick to leave on his terms. So I want him and Robert Kraft to sit down and go, look, it's not working. Do you want to finish out the season? Like, is that what you want to do? You want to finish out the season, get your stuff in order? But I think it is time to move on and get a younger, fresher face on the Patriots as a Patriots head coach that, frankly, is offensive orientated. We've been a defense first team forever. And the only reason why we had offense really was because of Tom. So you can't leave Tom high and dry until really his last 2 years. That's when Bill Belichick was like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing what I want. But I think it's time for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots to mutually part ways. I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, I think every head coach has a stint. No one ever thought, if I told you Andy Reid was going to lead the Philadelphia Eagles 3 years before he did, you would have called me crazy. If his son doesn't, if that whole situation with his son doesn't happen, he's probably still in Philly. Let's be honest. He didn't leave because Philly was because the Eagles were bad or anything. He left because he had to handle what happened. If you don't know what happened, go Google it.
His son dealing with something while he was with the Chiefs too, though? Like,
No. Well, he had two sons. If I'm mistaken, the son in Philly kind of,
did something worse than the son in Kansas City?
Nah, he offed himself.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he did that. So him being in Philly kind of brought up, like memories that he didn't like. It just didn't feel comfortable for him anymore.
I was just trying to get out of there.
Right. That's why he went to Kansas City, and then obviously, you know what the other one did. So. But
Andy Reid just went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots, and the city of Philadelphia was just gonna, they were gonna, take his head off. That's all. And he just wanted to run away and leave. That's all.
But yeah, man, honestly, I do think it's Belichick. Another Nathaniel Hackett. To be honest, I thought he was on the hot seat when they didn't get Aaron Rodgers. That's just me. I thought the instant they didn't get Aaron Rodgers, they were like, why do we still have him again? They just kind of committed. So that's him. Ron Rivera. I'm going to say no. Should he? Yes, he should be. But you can't fire him. You just can't. Because the instant you fire him, Dan Snyder has no protection. He's got zero protection. Zero, nada.
I think Daniel Snyder needs to be gone anyway. I think
I
he
think
just
he's on his
needs to go
way
take
out.
the team away from.
He
A lot of the
got-
owners are starting to get together and trying to encourage the other owners to vote him out. I don't think he'll be around too much longer.
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think it'll happen. If before that happens, he sells the team. Before that happens, he sells.
Some of the owners will probably go talk to Mike. Dude, we don't want to have to vote you out. Just sell the team.
Yeah, they'll
Probably
probably
talk
do
him
that.
into it, maybe.
Yeah, they'll probably talk to him a little bit, but like, come on, bro, relax. Let's, get out of here. But now for me, the guy with the reddest, maybe y'all looking at it different, but Ray, to me, the guy with the reddest of red hot seats is Josh McDaniels, 110%. Because 1-3, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, and his coaching philosophy, look when he was with the Patriots, was you get the ball to anybody, different people, but he didn't have one particular guy. But in this offense, you gotta go to Davante Adams. They brought him in to go be the number one guy. He needs to get most of the targets and catches because he's the one that can be a vertical threat, be a spot on position type. He's an all time. He's a great wide receiver, and they're not utilizing talent. So if you look at that, I agree with you in 100%. And I don't think Josh McDaniels needs another head coaching job. I think he just needs to be an offensive coordinator. That's about the only thing he needs to be.
Come back home, Josh.
It's crazy because I've been saying that for years about Josh McDaniels.
Oh yeah, we knew about this. We knew it was gonna happen once he got the job.
Bro, everyone was like, there was people calling me crazy, and I kept saying there are some people who are great head coaches, and there are some great guys that are just great coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a strong difference between the two.
Look
And
at
Josh
Bill O'Brien,
McDaniels-
for example.
You said what?
Look at Bill O'Brien, for example.
Yes. Yes, when he was head coach, it was doo-doo. But and again, and you want to know why it's easier to be an offensive coordinator? Because you have a safety net in your head coach. So when you go and say something brain dead, you got someone look at you and go, do me a favor, go clock out for me. You're done for the day. Go clock out. Just clock out, go home, come back tomorrow when you're taking this serious.
But also,
Like-
but also, he can't formulate a team because when you're a head coach, you got to be able to understand the defense concept, the offensive concept, where to meet in the middle, where to put the game plan in. This is just like his Denver stint. I mean, this is just the 2.0. There's the Raiders Denver 2.0 right here with Josh McDaniels. I think he needs to go. And also, I think Hackett needs to go too because he showed me in that first game when he went for a 64-yard field goal and he missed it, that was just trash when you got Russell Wilson who could go up the middle easily, get that first down on that 4th and 1, then sitting there kicking that 64-yard field goal to lose the game, man. That's just bad coaching all the way around.
To Damien's point, Mike McDaniels didn't do what he did to Tua. That wasn't Mike McDaniel. It was the health people that did the concussion protocol. They went back to Mike McDaniels and was like, listen, he passed, he's good, he can come back out and play. Mike McDaniels being a rookie head coach saying, okay, he went through the thing, they said he's good, or I'm going to put him back in there. If I was Mike McDaniels, I would have been the bigger man and been, okay, well, he's still not going in.
Yeah, that's why that's the only reason why I'm giving him. Now, does he deserve to get fired? No, because I'm not going to go that far.
Hell no,
Because
the man beat
obviously
the
that's
Bills.
not his job. But I do think he needs to take responsibility for that.
I don't like
Because
how he's handled, like when he's on TV and press conference, basically just standing by the way they handled it. It's like, dude, no, you got messed up.
He's dumb. He's dumb.
That's what makes him look bad. I don't think he deserves to get fired, but the way he's handled it makes him look bad, I think.
Have you guys ever had a friend that
No,
you're scared? You're right, Frankie.
no.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
you're
know.
scared that like anytime they open their mouth, you're scared. Because
Never know what's gonna come
they're
out.
gonna say the dumbest thing ever, but they're gonna say it with a straight face and swear they're doing the best thing possible.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Mike McDaniels.
That's Jay McLovin. I mean, yeah, that's Mike McDaniels.
But no, like that is Mike McDaniels to a T because he just says dumb stuff. Like, oh yeah, we take it serious. And then they asked him, "Did you know?" Oh, I didn't know Tua was hurt. I didn't see anything that would make me think Tua was hurt against the Bills. My man was crip walking, huh? Like, let's be real here. My guy tripped over an invisible line. Frankie, you know about this. You know when you smack and you go through the door and you think there's like tape, so you step over it and you look mad dumb. And then you look back and all of a sudden that glint you saw that you thought was tape or something like that is all of a sudden gone. That's how Tua was walking, bro. Tua was walking like his joint was spiked. And Mike McDaniels talked about, I didn't know.
Yeah, I think it's too is the point that he was trying to beat the Bills. So anything means and just putting Tua out there because Tua was Bills couldn't stop him really. So they put him back out there. You know, he did his thing, but still, as a head coach, even though the doctor come back and say, "Hey, look, he's fine," I would have said, "Hey, just go sit down, take the rest of the game off. We want to make sure you are fine, and just for a safety precaution." And that's what he should have done. But you know, because anybody with a head injury or anything like that, you're not going to come back all at one time if it's that hard. And that's what's caused him to go in the next game. And I don't think he was really healthy when he came into the next game.
No.
I mean, the way he warmed up and stuff like that, and the way he was glancing through the crowds and stuff like that was making him look dizzier. And 9 times out of 10, when you have a concussion, if you ever look down, you're going to throw your equilibrium right off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because as soon as Tua looked down, what happened?
He fell.
That's when all of a sudden it was like I'm broken, and he fell face first. Can I ask you a question, Ray, real quick?
Yep.
Is Tua Tagovailoa a good quarterback?
Oh my God.
He's okay. But I don't think he's in that realm of. I don't think he's in that realm of an elite quarterback right now.
No. Whoa. I'm not saying elite. I'm not saying elite.
But he's a doable quarterback. I mean, he was a doable quarterback. I mean, he sounds like he could be in the rim of Trent Dilfer and just taking a team, not turning the ball over. You know.
Yeah, he's
So-
such a good quarterback. He can just start on your fantasy lineup. That's it. That's all.
Hey, what did Trent Dilfer do? All he did was manage the Baltimore Ravens, and the defense won most of the games.
So you basically want him to play like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, don't turn the ball over. You want him to manage a game, not turn the ball over. If Trevor Lawrence didn't turn the ball over 4 times against Philly, I think they would have done. And I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you the one key play in that game. On that 4th and 1, they should have punted the freaking ball instead of going for it. That would because they were on the verge of being 14. They were 14 down, and they give the turnover. That turnover united them. And then one pass that it was thrown real long, that Wayne got into it and carried it along, and they missed the freaking Agnew.
Oh yeah, I know that wouldn't have happened with Tua.
That would have been 21. That would have been 21-0 right there. So
Tua would have been at 48-0.
nah, not really.
Yeah, what? Oh, you're right. 100%. Tua would have 5 tutties, bro.
No, he wouldn't.
Right, just say
Not in that win. Not in that win, he wouldn't. Not in that win that he played in.
Just say Tua's a good quarterback. That's it. You don't gotta say he's elite. You don't gotta say he's the best in the league. Just say he's a good quarterback.
He's a servable quarterback.
See,
I mean, he got into the right position with the Miami Dolphins. That's the type of offense that he can run. And if you put him in somebody else's offense, he ain't gonna be able to run that offense.
I tell you, he can. The
I tell you, he
only
can't.
offenses he won't be able to run are like the Bill Belichick type of offenses that are like over the top, super complicated that you actually need time to understand unless you're Mac Jones. That's it.
What's so complicated about our line or our plays? All we do is run the ball right now.
No. The what's complicated about it is that we got to throw it. That's the complicated part about it, right? They actually got to like deliver the ball, right? Tua Tagovailoa is a starting quarterback and a good quarterback. When he wins an MVP, and I said this, Frankie, you can vouch for me on this. I said in 3 years he was going to win an MVP. Did I not?
Yeah.
Before he got hurt, he was in the MVP conversation. Call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
But now his football career is in jeopardy.
Honestly, I think I said it here.
You know who else had like a first good 3 weeks?
Who?
And was in MVP conversation last year, Russell Wilson. And then what happened?
He got hurt. He got hurt. Well, of course he got traded because he didn't want to be in Seattle. Who wants to be in Seattle?
Tua,
it's not
after this,
working out
he's
for
like,
him. It's not
after
working
this,
out for
Tua's
him.
like, I'm not over here in Miami. They don't care about my health.
No,
I'm gonna
but
get
no,
CTE by the time I'm 30.
if I'm Tua, no lie, everyone is basically telling Tua not to play anymore, and I get it. I mean,
He's one step away of being, not all there.
I said this yesterday. I think it was. He's gonna be in the Antonio Brown type of realm, and what I mean by that is, when a guy like when Antonio Brown, that Vontaze Burfict hit is what completely changed him. Tua's one hit away from being Vince McMahon, where Vince was like booking stuff and would forget, and the next day rewrite the same exact thing verbatim. Tua is one hit away from that. Tua is on the verge of going to practice twice in one day.
He's on the verge of being RG3 too.
No, worse. Because RG3, it was his knee, right? My guy, if y'all ever get bored, follow RG3 on Twitter. He is hilarious.
He is.
This dude be tweeting the funniest stuff ever. What team was it? He said he basically said some team. Antonio Brown showed more D than I think it was the Lions and Seahawks. That's what it was. He said Antonio AB showed more D than the Lions and Seahawks, and I was like, RG3, you a funny guy, but like with Tua won't be able to do that. He won't be able to tweet. He won't be able to, man. It's gonna sound like a garbled mess, bro. You know how he's gonna be tweeting, bro? You wanna know how he's gonna be tweeting? Like your granddad who got the internet, doesn't know how to work it, and then just be like, it's gonna be like that, yo. And Tua's like, he's only 24, and this is gonna be on the verge of like, and I'm not joking when I say this, potentially one hit away from being confined to a wheelchair, where he's gonna be an aid with him at all times. It's crazy, man.
You think his mom and dad will reason with him and decide to let him come back, or will they step in and say, hey, look, this is my personal opinion. Hey, you ain't all there right now. Sit this year out and readjust for next year and see if you can be able to play, or, because sometimes these head injuries could take a year or two to get better.
Yep. And if I hope his parents have a conversation. Now they can't force him, because at the end of the day, if they go say something to the organization, the contract isn't with his parents, it's with Tua.
Right.
But I do think his parents will sit down and say, look, man, let's be honest. You got hurt bad. This isn't a hip where you can get surgery to correct it. This is your head. This is your brain. Once your brain is gone, it's gone. Okay? If you got skin cancer, and you end up becoming cancer-free, you can get surgery to replace that skin, right? You can get a replacement, right? Your organs, you can replace your organs. Same thing with your blood. If you lose any limbs, they can either find the limb, put it on ice, and reattach it, or they can get you another one. There's that, you can have something for virtually anything on your body except your brain. Once your brain goes, it's gone, and it's never coming back. You're still on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
And
if I was his dad, I'm telling him sit his ass down, or he's coming back to Hawaii.
I'm punishing him.
Or I'll set him down and say, hey, look, let's go ahead and quit football. Let's go sue the medical team that put you in this thing, and you can live off that money right there, and then you can move on doing something else.
And honestly, and you know what I would do if I was Tua? You know what honestly I would do? I would do that, and if you love football, go do what every other player is doing. Ryan Fitzpatrick wasn't good, and they got him on virtually every other football show.
Yeah, I know.
Richard Sherman is doing it. Brandon Marshall is doing it.
They're all doing it.
So it's like you have, and on top of that, Tua is very likable. He's a likable dude. So it's like he'll be able to have the opportunity to go and explore other avenues involved with football, right? So that way he can commentate on it, do like what Peyton and Eli do, those watch long type of joints. Like He could
No,
do
so,
that.
so the Dolphins and become the fucking owner of the Dolphins.
I would do that. I no lie, I would do it. I
Yeah.
would do it.
He can go ahead and sue them, get the
Only-
money, and then if he wants to, since he's a quarterback at heart, I mean, he could be a quarterback coach if he wants to be that. You know, he can go down here. They got a place down here and right past Gainesville. There's IMG Academy, which is owned by one of the Florida State's Chris Winkie. He does a quarterback camp there. He's a athletic director there. He's the one that financed that school. So when you wanted to go, he could go right there and be with Chris Winkin and teach these guys how to throw, coming right in high school, and it's all set up that way. I mean, he could. It's a lot of avenues he could do besides going out there and risking his life.
Exactly. And on top of that, it's like, and for me, if I'm Tua, not only am I like, and honestly, I don't know if Tua's a vindictive kid. He doesn't really seem like it, so I don't know if he'll go to like sue for like money or anything like that. What he would probably do, and if I had Tua's personality, this is what I would assume he would do. He would probably demand something be put in place where this would never be able to happen again. A situation where if you're on goose legs, if you're like, you're out. This is the part that really baffles me. A guy can run a route, twist his ankle slightly, limp, they take him out.
Yeah.
He was on the verge of throwing up. His crossing his legs together and he fell. Needs to be held up by not one, but two linemen. Because the first one who held him up, two are trying to push him off.
Yeah.
He tried to be like, yo, get off me. Like, why are you grabbing me? I'm good, yo. Like, and then when the second one grabbed him, that's when it kind of started sinking in. Like, why are y'all both grabbing me? And then all of a sudden, it didn't look good. If I'm Tua, I'm definitely coming for the NFL, but I'm coming for the NFL for a change, for something. Because like the money would be nice and all, don't get it twisted. But a guy like Tua with his personality, he'll be able to make that money. He'll be able to go make it. He'll be able to go get another job. Granted, it won't be it'll be about football, won't be football, right? Mm-hmm. But at the bare minimum, I don't want this to happen to anybody else, me personally. You know, like if you get hurt, I would rather you get hurt from a freak accident rather than negligence.
No, I wish this should happen to like KD.
See, now that is insane.
Like I wish this happened to KD. I wish somebody took KD on top on the basketball court, and that's harder. Like I want that to happen to KD.
Wow.
The hatred that Frankie has for Kevin Durant is like. It's
like, and now I know why Pride is like, New York is such a bad place because of people like KD living here. Like, it's insane.
So it's just crazy. Like, and I'll be honest, I have my hatred for Steph Curry. I hate him, but I have inconvenience hatred for him.
You want Steph Curry to mismatch socks. I want Kevin Durant to get hit with a sock full of rocks.
That's it. Like that's the thing. And when I say KD has Curry has mismatched socks, I want him on his left foot to have a normal sock, and then on the right foot it be compression, so he can feel the difference. Just a simple annoyance. That's all. Frankie's all the way on the other side. This man literally wishes the worst on Kevin Durant.
I don't wish the worst. I just wish that one day he doesn't have his car to drive home, and he just, ends up taking the train and the subway, and, he just gets robbed by little kids on the train because he's nothing he can do, and these are some hard, badass kids in Brooklyn, and maybe he gets shanked once or twice, but that's it. That's all I want.
Hey, how about this? He get mugged by the people that are wearing the green outfits on the subway in New York that beat the person down in Queens. You see the gang of people show up and they got the green suits on. You can't tell the face, the color, who they are.
Exactly.
Get on there and get beat up. Yeah,
Exactly. Or get beat up by the homeless people that are sleeping on the bench in the subway. That's all. That's all. Nothing bad. That's it.
Wow, this is.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if you watch. I don't know if you watch the local news. I don't know if you watch the news up in New York, but they got a spot in Queens that these people got on there with a green full suit to cover the whole face and everything. You can't tell what color they are. You can only tell that they're male or female, and they're beating up these people just sitting there being innocent bystanders. They just sit there, and these kids or whoever they were to get on the sub and beating you know what out of them.
Oh man, what a time to be alive in New York. What a time to be alive in New York. KD, I hope something. I mean, let me just stop. I hope, you know what? I'm not gonna stop. I hope something bad happens to you, KD.
But I mean,
I already went worse, so whatever. What's gonna happen? He's gonna come on here and be like, "Hey man, say it to my face." I'll be like, "Okay."
no, he'll go get him another ghost Twitter account and put stuff out.
Nah, KD. I didn't want to be me, but KD is a weirdo. He is a weirdo.
Yeah, most people that come out of DC is a weirdo.
Yeah, bro. I mean, New York people are just weird. Like, New York is a weird place. Like, honestly, if you live in New York, like, you're just asking for it at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
Careful now.
I said what I said, and I meant it. I regret nothing. Positively regret nothing.
Yeah, I mean, because I live down here in Florida. Most of these people down here in Florida, they come from New York. I'm glad to move down here to get out of New York. I'm like, why? He said, because you got these people in the subways. You go in the subway, and you either one or two things. You better not take a wallet with you, or you're gonna get mugged anyway. Just looking at them. I'm like, dang.
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
the subway is the really worst part
Yeah,
because
they're
there's barely any police officers in the subway. You got about maybe 1, 2 that are walking it, but they're not actually in the subway. You know, they're like right there before you walk down the steps to get into your train and stuff like that. So, and a lot of things can happen in the subway. You can have that person, no lie, I'm not trying to, say anything bad, but like you go down there and you see somebody pushing another person into the tracks. That
Yeah.
person can't get back up from the tracks. Like, that's how crazy it is down here. And that's why I'm glad, honestly, I live about 3 hours away from Brooklyn. I'm glad I got away from there because I'm pretty sure I would have been one of those people that pushed KD into the subway tracks.
Yeah, because I mean, there were people getting pushed in subway tracks. They were talking about it, getting pushed in subway tracks. Train come by, take the head off.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, imagine being scared of that. Come on, bro, step up. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of these crybabies. So it's just a train. Grow up, all right? You'll get a little cut and move on. Jimmy says, damn, Boston has cheaters and New York's have weirdos. That's tough. I mean, New York has cheaters too.
Yeah.
And we everywhere. Us cheaters. Cheat gang. We cheaters. We go everywhere. Don't care. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That's a fact.
I mean, let's keep it a bean. It's Bean Town, by the way. Man, free email. Free email is wicked, man. Is wicked, bro.
Nah,
So
I'm not freeing him. Why the hell he cheating on Nia Long, bro?
First of all, hold on. 1, 2, 3. No. She looked bad.
No, she looked beautiful. What are you talking
No, she don't.
about?
No, she don't.
Oh my god.
She got the Carmella look where half her face is melting, bro. She got the Carmella in her, bro. Get out of here.
Jesus.
Get out of here. First of all, and second of all, they broke up.
Obviously.
No, before then, because she wasn't good enough for Ime. She wasn't good enough for Ime. Just like Giselle ain't good enough for Brady.
That's a fact. Gisele's not
can't
good
handle
enough
the
for Brady.
goodness, bro.
Yeah, they can't handle the.
No, the reason they're getting divorced because Brady stepped back on the football field. That he promised that he was going to retire after last year, and he didn't. Nope. He stepped back on the football field, and she didn't like it.
No, that's not the real reason. I talked to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady the other day, okay, and he told me that she's just mad because he's just so good looking. He's getting all these women in Tampa hitting on him and stuff. And he's trying to he's trying to be a family man. If you guys remember on his Twitter, he's family and football. So he's trying to be a family man, but he can't be, it's just too much when you're the GOAT and you got a perfectly jaw structure like Tom does. And, you're just good looking like Tom. It's hard.
And Tom not even doing nothing. That's the thing. They throwing themselves at him. True story. He went out. He was going to practice. Some girl threw a panty at him. Who knows whose it was?
Real.
And Giselle got
But
mad at him.
it don't. I mean, it doesn't matter because she makes more money than he makes anyway. So I mean, it ain't
So
causing
then
money
Giselle-
wise.
She needs to get over
And,
it.
and Giselle's over here taking pictures with AB, liking his Instagram posts and stuff, and Tom Brady's just letting it ride. He don't care. He's a man. He don't give a damn.
Honestly,
He got Giselle over there
oh,
crying
yeah,
because
I
he's
know.
back on Facebook.
Yeah, crying like, oh my god, oh no, like nah, AB like, oh I got him. Tom is like, oh, okay.
Right? Can you remind me who left who?
Tom left her.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Tom.
Who got kicked out of the house?
Her.
Thank you.
Giselle
Get
broke
out.
that. She got
Well-
the in-laws, man.
Well, the house that Tom Brady living in Tampa, he's renting it.
because
he
he
rent-
ain't gonna be there forever.
Nah, he's renting it from Derek Jeter.
Yeah, in the New England crib, she ain't there either. She can't be there.
He's still in that
Bro,
house. I thought he moved out of that house.
He moved out and he's renting it from.
Smart
matter.
idea.
Don't matter, bro.
Hey, he moved out of the house. He also can be a business guy too. Rent the house out, man. Why is always everybody got to sell their house? Just rent it out, make money.
Tom don't care. Tom vibing
Listen,
right now.
all
bro.
I know is Tom already told me that he's sending an invitation to me and Pride for the divorce party, and we over there in Tampa. That's all I know. So,
Listen,
Ray,
I'm gonna tell you this.
you in Florida, Ray, so we're gonna come and pick you up. We know you're a Jaguars fan. We don't care. We're gonna come pick you up because you're in Florida. You know the area.
Yeah,
I'm
he's down.
telling you right now.
He's down in Tampa, right across. His house is right across the canal of where the Yankees do training camp.
The Yankees. I will say this though. I will say this. In 6 months, Giselle gonna be calling back. Giselle
Who
gonna call
knows?
back in 6 months. She gonna come back in 6 months. And when it happens, Tom gonna be like, man, shut up.
It might not happen until after he walks off the football field.
He's retiring after this year. He's
That's why he
retiring.
said 6 months.
Yeah, that's why I said 6 months. He retired after this year. This is it. And Tampa Bay not winning the Super Bowl and forever again. Like, it's a wrap. Like, you know what I mean? So I think Tom seen the writing on the wall. He's like, damn, I think my family wait for this. Nah, I don't care, bro. I'll do it again. I don't care, bro. I'll do it again. My guy out here doing bricks with Godwin. That's why Godwin not playing. He not hurt, bro. He's high right now, bro. He's like, okay, give me another brick.
Straight up though.
You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Ray, what's your best
Tom saying those Super Bowl rings are heavier than his wedding ring.
Which one?
Oh, God.
Pro?
Yeah.
I'm a Hornets fan.
You're a Hornets fan.
Yeah, I was born and raised in North Carolina.
Zoinks. Though, isn't
I'm a-
it a shame that like no good basketball player has ever came out of North Carolina? Isn't that kind of a shame? Like the best player ever to come out of North Carolina State was Vince Carter. Let that sink in. Let that
No.
sink in. Vince Carter.
Michael Jordan was the best.
Who?
Michael Jordan.
Come on, knock it off. Anyway, Vince Carter was the best.
Vince Carter is not. But if you want to tell about North Carolina, see, Michael Jordan was born in New York. He moved to New York when he was 5 years old.
He left because he got beat up.
No, his dad moved down because his dad took a job in North Carolina, in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah, he had a move because he got beat up. MJ was like, I get beat up. I get bullied.
But if you really want to know about it, his brother was the better basketball player than he was.
MJ?
MJ's brother was the best basketball player than he was, and he's a foot shorter.
Yeah, because MJ was a late bloomer. Like he was a real late bloomer.
Michael Jordan was a better baseball player than he was a basketball player going into high school.
Could have fooled me. Could have fooled
No,
me.
He was the best. He was the best pitcher in the state of North Carolina in middle school before he went to high school, and then he all of a sudden he went from being a 5'10" kid going out of middle school and growing up to be a 6'4" kid. He just bloomed out of nowhere.
Yo, Frankie.
So.
My guy was pitching like a Roldis Chapman pitches for y'all. Straight doo-doo.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah, that's Michael Jordan's pitching.
Michael Jordan was a pitcher?
Michael Jordan was a pitcher in high school, in middle school.
Middle. I think he even pitched his freshman year.
Yeah, he stayed with the baseball team, and the only thing he played football. Wasn't very good at football. He just wanted to get out of school, so he joined all the sports team he could get out of school early.
You know what other athlete was real good at football? The greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James. He was really good at football.
Yeah, that's a rumor. That's a rumor going around. Once he retires from basketball, he's going to go. He's got eligibility for football, so he's going to go find a football team and play for.
No, he's not. Relax, Bron. Relax. All right, relax. Damien says, question, with some NFL coaches being on the hot seat right now, and now that Gruden did an apology to the NFL, do you think he'll get another chance? This is my position on John Gruden. This is my position on John Gruden. John Gruden is not a good football coach. That's it. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's just a flash in the pan who occasionally goes on a lucky run, and that's it. People want to sit there and say, look what he did for Tampa. Tony Dungy built that team. That's what no one wants to talk about. That team was contending before John Gruden got there.
That's true.
And when John Gruden got there, the defense kept them in check because it was all vets on the defensive end of the ball. It was all vets. They held each other accountable. John Gruden would call some stupid play, and they would just be like, yeah, all right, settle down. And that talent got him a ring. But that's really Tony Dungy's ring. Outside of that anomaly, what has he done? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Because he's not a good coach.
No,
Now,
see, John.
I'm not even talking about the emails or anything like that. Because listen, he's dumb, he's stupid. I'm talking strictly coaching. He's not good. He's just not.
The only thing he's good at is sitting there and he can break down a game film. That's the only thing he's good at.
That's it.
His only thing he's good at.
That's it. And it's because he can continuously rewind it. But for some reason, that breaking down of the film on a college level, throw that in there too, on a college level, can never translate when he's on the sideline. Never.
I think
like you
he's only famous for his face, his face that he does. Everybody always mocking his face back then when he was the analyst in ESPN.
That's it.
He's the only thing he's good at is watching the game film, and he's also good at being a quarterback coach. That's about it. He can't be anybody else.
He's also good at sending racial emails.
He's an idiot.
My bad.
Imagine. But you know what? At this point, he apologized, even though it's half-hearted. I'm gonna let it rock. Whatever. To each their own. But in terms of coaching, he's just not good. Now, here's the sad part about it. If we're giving Nathaniel Hackett a head coaching job, we saw what happened with Josh McDaniels, and you're giving him a second chance. If Matt Rule can keep his job after a whole century, a whole millennia of failure, then maybe somebody will get a chance.
Mike Rule, he needs to go back to college. I mean, he's a better college coach than he is an NFL coach.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's it. I mean, it's the reality because if you really watch him, he really tries to bring the college game up to the National Football League level, and it doesn't work. Fam, if Nick Saban couldn't do it, who is better coaching than you in every single way possible, if Nick Saban couldn't do it, you're out of luck.
Urban Meyer couldn't do it either.
And that's another one. Urban Meyer was out here doing it.
Urban Meyer was in Ohio when the team left Cincinnati. He stayed in Ohio, go get grind on in his restaurant.
He was getting lit. Free Urban Meyer. Give him a chance. Matter of fact, Bill Belichick, step down. We'll take Urban Meyer for a year.
You're bugging. No, we wouldn't. Don't say that again. Don't
Yeah,
say
we
that
would.
again.
No,
we won't.
Yeah, we would.
No,
Yeah,
we won't.
We would take him, and Robert Kraft would have a field day with him. Robert Kraft would have a field day.
Robert Kraft and Urban Meyer would go to the massage parlors together.
Yes, they would. Yes. That's what I'm saying.
They'll go to the massage parlor together, and then they'll go to the club right after.
Yeah, they'll go to the club, and they both get grinded on.
Yeah.
I could see Robert Kraft getting. I could dead see Robert Kraft getting grinded on. Cause my man be rocking the chains, the nice suits with the fresh Nikes and stuff. I could see him doing that.
And now he's gotten it before. But to answer your question, Damien, answer your question before I hand it over to Frankie. No, And me personally, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, and it's not even just because of the emails. At this point, we need to have a conversation. John Gruden is just not good. He's just not a good head coach, and that's just the reality of it. Go ahead, Frankie.
No, yeah, I don't got much to say to it. I don't think John Gruden will be coming back after what he's done. No team is gonna, bring him back onto their franchise to be a coach. As much as a great coach he honestly truly is, and that's just not head coach wise. I mean, quarterback coach wise, offensive coach wise, he's pretty decent, but he's not gonna come back into the NFL. And he'll be even lucky if he can get a college coaching job, if that.
I think college coaching job he's more likely to get. I think that's really in his future, to be honest. If he ends up coaching again, I think he should go to college.
I think he needs to start all over and go back to high school and start there.
I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that.
No,
He needs to.
he might just go back to the broadcasting booth and just sit there and do what he did.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, you got to remember, this is a dude with a big ego.
Yeah,
So he's not going to go to college where no one's going to see him, or not college. He's not going to go to high school where no one's going to see him.
Nobody sees him now.
No, people see him. Yeah, his apology, like once a week goes viral on Twitter. Once a week. Like once a week, it's like, remember when he apologized?
I mean, I like that segment what he did when the draft comes around. They take the quarterbacks from college and goes in there and tells them to read the plays and stuff like that. I kind of like that. That's something that he might could do, come back to do and stuff like that.
He's a personality. He's a personality. That's what it is. He's a personality. He just can't coach. And like I said, I don't think that's a bad thing. There are some guys out there. Like, which one is it? Is it Carson Palmer? It's one of the brothers. It's one of them. That they're a quarterback coach now. We're like, that's their job. They're just a quarterback coach.
That's Carson.
That's Carson, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he can. When he's talking about quarterbacks and their delivery and their motion and all that stuff, he's good at it. I'm not making him my head coach though. So for as good as he is, I'm not making him my head coach. And it's okay to be good at certain stuff. That's fine. You just gotta understand. You gotta know yourself. I'm good at talking. You don't see me trying to go freaking solve a complicated rocket equation because I'm dumb.
That was Jordan Palmer. Jordan Palmer's the quarterback coach.
That's the one. Okay. Because I know it's one of them. But yeah, Jordan Palmer. Again, when he goes, and I've watched some of his videos, when he's talking about for quarterbacks, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's not like he's just babbling. Like, he makes some sense. I'm not having him as my offensive coordinator.
I'll tell you who would make a good offensive coordinator. That'd be Peyton Manning.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he would.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. I gotta take my daughter into her doctor's appointment.
All right, Frankie, be safe, bro.
Yeah, see, I think he'll be a good one because he loves to sit there and watch tapes. And I know I've seen his wife on some of these talk shows that she's done recently, saying that she's trying to get him out of the habit of going into the basement where he's got all his videotaping stuff, and he still does it. He still goes in during football season and breaks down everything. And they said that he can actually run just about every offensive. He knows just about every offensive scheme that in the NFL is running and college is running right now.
He's weird. Him and Tom are like two high IQ guys that just absorb everything at first glance.
Oh yeah,
they look at it that's why personally I put those two in a league all of their own when it comes to IQ, because not only do they retain it, but they just see it once and go, easy, okay, yeah. I got it, and they're fine. And that the Peyton would definitely be. If I was Peyton Manning, I would have him start as a quarterback coach.
Yeah,
because you definitely want to use him there too. You definitely want to use him there, and then bring him up as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
and he's special
because these commercials they do with the country singer on the insurance and stuff like that. Peyton Manning does his in one take.
Yeah.
They call him one take because they give him a script to read it, and he said, "Okay, I'm done." He said he can sit there for like 5 or 10 minutes, learn the script, and he can memorize every script. And then when the other person doesn't do his line correctly, he corrects them. So he knows his line and the person's line.
And their lines, yep. Which is shout out to him. He's definitely a very impressive guy.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, I think he could be, but I think him and his brother's got a good gig going right now on the ESPN and the podcast and stuff.
Yep. I do like, and I used to hate Peyton Manning, but you know, after he stopped playing and you actually kind of got to see his personality a little more, it's like, huh.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
His brother did a skit on YouTube with Penn State being a walk-on.
Yep.
That joke was funny.
It was hilarious. They did a better job with that one than they did with Jared Goff.
Yeah.
The one they did with Jared Goff, they just kind of put a wig on him, and it was like,
right.
All right, cool. For Eli, they did the whole thing. They had like the nose thing and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
They did that with Jeff Gordon. They put him in a car and put somebody in the backseat of the car and took him for a ride.
Mm-hmm. And then what's it called? They also did it recently too with Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah.
Jimmer Fredette going. I forgot where he went, but they had him go to a school, and he was just doing this thing boy. It was like he looks kind of familiar. And they were like,
yeah.
They were like, is he a pro? It was crazy. They tried to sell him like he was some guy from overseas, which is funny because that's where he plays. Like that's actually where he plays.
Yeah.
Like they weren't lying. It was just funny.
And it was just one they did Undercover Boss with Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah. I love Undercover Bosses things, man. I love those.
Yeah. They get me at the end when they give people the stuff and, you know, the people that had the hard time, they give them the stuff. And, it just brings me to tears sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes them things be going pretty crazy, man. They definitely do be having you go.
All right, man. We can go ahead and start ending this then because I got to run myself here. So.
All right. Well, like Craig said earlier, we are everywhere. Where did he put the thing?
I don't know where he puts it.
Oh, you know, he probably had
he put it. He's got it on his computer.
That's probably what it is. But
yeah.
Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern time, ASAP in the morning. That is when we start. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We are on Twitter, ASAP Network 1. If you go to Twitch, ASAP Network, we're on Facebook. Wherever you think we are, we probably are there. Craig was here. Appreciate seeing him. Same with Frankie. Same with Chris Gonzo. On behalf of Ray, it's your boy Pride. The gang will be back here tomorrow. Until then, y'all know what to do. Be safe.
Peace.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.